Hey there, and happy Thursday afternoon, almost evening. So I'm excited to just remind you that it is free shipping yet through the rest of today and tomorrow. So thank you so much for those of you that have been ordering. I appreciate that so much. If you're like me, kind of always have that running list and order when I need things, but then there's always that kind of behind the scenes of, well, maybe when there's a deal, I'm going to get this, that, or the other. And I know some of you are that same way. I think it's human nature. And so I'm seeing orders come in and people are like, yes, this is a perfect time to get those Christmas things, stock up on my card stock that I was low on, get some adhesives, all that stuff. So I'm right there with you. But if you need help with ordering, please let me know. The orders have to be $75 or more to qualify for free shipping. But like I said, free shipping goes through till tomorrow night. And the guys are very busy out in the field, and it kind of allows me to have some quiet time at home. And I am at home most of the time, so don't feel like you're interrupting or pestering. That is what I am here for, and I am thankful that I can be here to help you throughout the day. Hi there, Darla. Thank you so much for the cute card today in the mail. Hi there, Pam. So what I'm going to bring to you here is a cute little fluffy squirrel card. And I was kind of between two projects, like which one should I show today, and hopefully the other one will be tomorrow. Which one should be which day? And I went with the fluffy squirrel because that has been one of the more popular bundles when it's free shipping that people are ordering. And so that's kind of fun to see. The other popular things have been the Christmas sets. And that's always fun to see because it makes me know that people are still making Christmas cards. Not that that's going out the window with time and such. Hi there, Julie. So let me get my camera turned around here and I can start doing that for you. I feel like it's been a while. There's just been stuff that I've had to catch up on, and I feel like I do better with everything. I don't feel like me if things are like taken care of and everything's organized and such, then I can just go full throttle because that's what I'm going to need to do now. All right, so before I start on the card, I set this aside because I was just unpacking, a recent order. And with free shipping, this is something that I wanted to wait, but obviously I didn't because I've already unpacked this. This was on my list of someday down the road, I need to just get some uninked Stampin' Spots. So if you're wondering what they're called, that's what they're called. And so yes, they come in a 5-pack. These are all uninked. I used to go through so many of these when I would make 10 projects in one class, and people would be like, Belle, how do you do that without repeating and needing to buy double of things? Well, depending on what was being stamped, sometimes I would have the full pad at one station and then just the ink spot that you can just add the re-inker to that. Well, the reason that I'm bringing this up is that our special color here, Cloud Cover, and this has been a known issue now for a few months, but they had issues with the full ink pad, and people are like, but I really like the color. How can I get around that besides using Stampin' Blends and such? And so I'm telling people, buy the re-inker, buy yourself some spots, and then you can just ink that up. Excuse me, and then you'll have your own little ink pad of Cloud Cover. So that's why I laid this out, because sometimes I just need to talk about things like that, and I could put it in my monthly email too that I send out to people, but sometimes I just don't want that to get super lengthy too, and my videos are a great time for me just to pass along tidbits, hints, and things to make your stamping go easier. So I hope that helps too, because some of you have asked about that, so I thought it was good to address that. Hello there, Margaret. All right, so we've got this cute card, and I feel like this is very, like under noticed designer series paper. I love warm tones, and especially when it's fall, it's just fun to get out those. I've been going gaga over the autumn bundle and the paper, the autumn toile that goes with that. But I thought, okay, you guys are probably tired of me dragging that out to in my videos and to all the events, and like, oh, here she goes again, just using a different one. I don't think anybody ever says that, because if anything, you're like, oh good, she's using all the papers and now I know what to do with them. So I will show you where this is, but first I'm going to show you Fluffy Squirrel. And anytime I work with this, I feel like I do go squirrel. So I've already talked about 3 different topics, right? So the Fluffy Squirrel is in the mini catalog on page 49, Fluffy Squirrel bundle. I just love it with this I think it's Pretty Peacock here. It just really makes the color pop, the pecan pie and the Pretty Peacock. So I'm going to have to remember that for some upcoming fall color classes that I'm doing and such too, because I like that. So with this bundle being $41.25, I just help somebody order that, and I'm like, it's like a $5 savings not having to pay shipping on it, plus the tax in Minnesota here, the tax on the shipping. So sometimes that is just enough of a push for me to want to get those extra things, like, do I want that now, later, at all? So that's where that's coming from. And then let me grab my annual catalog and I will show you where it's at first, and then I'll show you more about it. So the annual catalog here on page 19 has the scrapbooking workshop. The workshop always has a lot more sticker sheets and just a lot more to it for more layouts. But then it's also shown, I must have flipped. I think it's 73 if my memory serves me right here. Oh, phew. Remember that. So here you can see it again. So the difference is that's the workshop. Like I said, it comes in like a thicker packaging, and here you can buy the things kind of individually. You can get the two-tone. I'll show you that too. The two-tone 12x12 cardstock, and then you get this cute designer series paper pack here. I'll show that a little bit more in detail here in a little bit. This you can buy separately, that you can buy separately, and this you can buy with this only. So somebody asked me just recently when they were placing their free shipping order, she goes, I really like, it wasn't this paper, but it's the same setup. I really like the paper, but it says $17 only. And I'm like, oh yeah, but you can get just the paper for $12.50, which we're used to. And then once you add that big thick sticker sheet, that's the extra $5. So on a lot of our things, you can get it as the $17 package where you get both, or the $12.50 for just the designer series paper. And a lot of times it makes a difference if you're into making bigger projects where you know you're going to use up the 12x12, but it comes down to a lot of times just scrapbooking, let's just say that. And then this stamp set here, it also coordinates the weekend adventures. So I just went for the paper because I thought the paper was so rustic and cool. So let me kind of jump into that to help explain the situation a little bit too. All right, so this is that big sticker sheet that I was talking about. This is just because when I bring this to sell at events, it's got the shipping, handling, tax all put in there too. So here we have all these nice thick stickers. When I say thick stickers, they're not like paper, they're like cardstock thickness, but they're all sticky. They're stickers. So this is great. And like I said, you can buy it. Well, the only way to get it is with this, but you can buy now this separate. And let me just take out these because they're fun. So when we do things that are the scrapbooking, like geared towards scrapbooking, what I'm noticing, and it takes me a while sometimes to get it. Maybe I'm so, we're used to the 12x12 designer series paper having two sheets of each design, and then the front and the back. Well, these have 4 sheets times 3 designs, which for me, for classes, it's great. For those that like to scrapbook and have an event where they want everything to look the same, kind of a little bit more fluid through several pages, this is awesome for that as well. Or if you're also like me and just love a lot of the same design, this is like perfect. Okay, so like I said, this is called Weekend Adventures 12x12. So you'll get 4 sheets. Look at this. There's the footprints, the bear tracks, like a little enamel cup that you associate with camping and such, and then the compass, and then the back. This is so nice for like evening skies. Hopefully this picks it up. It's misty moonlight with kind of an acid splatter to it, so that's kind of fun. So that's one of the 3 designs, and then obviously I'm using this to make my cute squirrel card today. Hello there, Kirsten. And just black and white stripes, which is great for outdoorsy. It's almost like, I think it's because it's against these other things. Sometimes when I when I look at this, it looks like very vanilla with black, but kind of like a nice wash look too for outdoorsy. But I'm not so concerned about that because on the back side is the pattern that I'm after, which is the buffalo check. But I love how it has it in a Cajun craze color. And aren't these fun, these trees? Like, I already have some specific ideas in mind for that. And then on the back, this is like the lemon lolly, that light yellow. All of these little things are tiny little acorns. Doesn't get cuter than that. So that is what comes with that. Okay, another thing that you can pick up, and people are starting to warm up to this. It's newer for us, but those that came over to Stampin' Up! From close to my heart will be very familiar with this. Now, this is called Weekend Adventures 12 by 12. And so this is why I kind of want to just talk about these, because sometimes I think when people think two-tone cardstock, they think you have to buy all one color. They'll think this is just the basic beige, which this is. But in this pack, then you've also got Cajun Craze, a couple sheets. You've got a couple sheets of Early Espresso, Misty Moonlight, Old Olive, and Pecan Pie, which are all key color components that coordinate with that paper that I just showed you, all two-tone. So you can see, hopefully it picks it up. Here is the darker, and there is the lighter. It's maybe hard to see on camera, but it is two-tone. And it coordinates with that. So sometimes people have been buying this now when they buy the designer series paper, because if they're making cards, they know they've got just a couple sheets of each to coordinate with the other. I'm starting to use it a little bit more because when I run it through, I'm so excited about it. I can't even talk. When I run it through my cut and emboss machine for embossing, it can distress it if it's 3D embossing folder and give it that kind of crackled rustic edge. So that's kind of fun for that. And I'm using it more because it's just a shade thinner than regular cardstock. So if you're doing the layering and such, it's nice for that as well. Okay, so let's get back to the card. Okay, so thank you, Julie. Yes, the designs are really fun. And like I said, I feel like it's a hidden gem. And I've brought it to events. And I think until I use it, nobody's going to like bat an eye about it. They'll just go on to the next more popular things. That's why I really wanted to showcase today's card also, because people have told me this. I don't know if it's true. Belle, when you demo things, it makes us want to buy it. So I would feel guilty if I demoed this card like the day after free shipping, because if somebody jumps on and goes, oh yeah, I just got back from a trip up north or to Colorado and I have all these pictures I don't want to scrapbook, that would be perfect. And then it was the day after free shipping. So, but it is in the annual catalog, so it'll be around for a while. Okay, so my color combinations for today's card is basic black, Cajun Craze, and then the fun paper that I just talked about, basic beige, and basic white. So I want to kind of show you what I did for doing the cutting diagonal, because there is a learning trick. And I haven't done the diagonal cut for a while, and I know better because I've messed up before. So you think I should know, right? So when I go to make the next kind of matting layer after my base Cajun Craze, we have this. So this is like the 4 by 5 1/4 that would normally go on the next size smaller on my card base, like so. I also cut that exact same measurement out of this designer series paper. So I do this 4 by 5 1/4, and let's see here. I should have another one. I know I've got another one. But yes, I want the visual effect. Okay, here we go. So it started out like this. I just want you to know how it started out. So I cut it 4 by 5 1/4 to start with. And then what I do is just take the tips of each and line it into my trimmer right at the tip there and the tip there. And then I just go down. So then for me, close enough. It's sometimes it's off just a smidge, but that works well. So we've got that, and then the next one obviously is that. So that works out well. Well, I wasn't really putting a ton of thought. I thought all I have to do is take that 4 by 5 1/4 and just put it in there, like, you know, just put it in there and cut, right? Well, not necessarily, because then what you can get, these two pieces look like these two pieces, right? But they're not, because I wanted this to be on this side, and this is what happens. Like, you can't put it on this corner because it's just not right. So then it becomes like, this will work. It's not like it's terrible, but it doesn't go here and it doesn't go there. You could flip it over and have it be that, but I don't want that either. So there is a right and a wrong way to cut your angles. And so I wanted to share that with you also. And maybe you're just like thinking, well, we all kind of know that, Belle, like you're really slow to catch on. But I'm always about wanting to help people that maybe don't have that just at the tip of their mind on how that would work. Okay, so now I'm going to go back to designing my card here. Just going to put some adhesive. Hello there, Wendy. Good to see you on here. And I'm just going to lift this up so I can just kind of feed it into my thumb and pointer finger there. Just go whoop, and then it should lay nice, perfect, and nothing goes over the edge like that. And now this is also ready to go on my card front. And speaking of people that love to vacation in the wilderness and such, Wendy just pops on. So this Weekend Adventures Designer Series paper is really fun for those that like to adventure like Wendy does. Sorry to call you out there and make you all embarrassed. No. Okay, so what, I don't know why, but whenever I've been working with my Squirrel bundle, I feel like I'm always using the Nested Essentials dies. I've been using bigger ones, smaller ones. Sometimes, most of the time, I've been using it, the larger one, up and down, and then kind of putting the squirrel on it. This time, it's going to go this way. So I want to do some stamping first with my Memento Black ink here. And I'm going to grab kind of that stump look that comes with the Fluffy Squirrel stamp set here. And let's just, since I have the black out, I'm also just going to do my squirrel as well. And it's a pretty big squirrel, decently sized, so I'm going to bring over my Stampin' Mat for better results. And I'm just going to ink him up here in my Memento Black. The outline like so. Okay, and then I'm going to go back, open up my Pecan Pie ink. Hello there, Pam. Good to see you on here. And now this can be the inside, and I'm going to ink that guy up. And I kind of start with the eye when I'm inking. A lot of people are like, how do you even start? So I start with the eye and then just kind of move it around till like the feet look like they're going to be in there. And I think what throws people off, and I don't want to move it too much, but you can see by the belly, if you look close, there's white showing, and people kind of like get a little nervous, like, oh, we're supposed to fill in the squirrel. Well, no, because look, we've got white by the tail, white ears, eye, nose, or not nose, but ears and eye, and then the belly. Like, that's intentional. But I think you put it down thinking like everything's supposed to be colored in. Well, no, that is how it's supposed to look. And that's kind of fun. I love that they designed it that way. Trying to get the ink off my fingers that I noticed got on there. Better to notice now than when I'm trying to put it on my card and make it look nice, right? Okay, so now you might say, this is the other thing, that doesn't look like it's the same color. It's already starting to look better, but this one's a lot darker than this. I always say give it about 5 minutes to kind of soak into the cardstock, and it'll look better. So now we're ready to punch that out like so. So I've got that. Oops. Thought I saw one of the little acorns. There it is. I always set that aside for a day that I'm really brave and think, can I stamp that on there? And sometimes I have success, but today I'm going to stamp first, then punch out in a little bit here. Okay, so let's start on coloring. This just takes a little bit of coloring, and these are the two colors that I've used the most with this bundle. Also, it's the Stampin' Up! Neutrals line, so it's Stampin' Up! 600, Stampin' Up! 200. Let me start with the 600 here, and I'm just going to go over the whole stump with the 600. So that's the lighter one. And because it is stamped on the basic beige, it does take on a little bit of a different tone than if it was stamped on basic white. Not that it's a bad thing, but I think it feels like it's got a little bit of a soaked in look more. I guess, if that's the way to describe that. And then I'm going to go back with my Stampin' Up! 200 and just go over those kind of natural crack crease lines that the design artist put on there for us. So that is just to maybe broaden that. So I'm just doing that over the black lines that were already there, okay? And then let's get some dimensionals going. So I'm going to do about probably just 3 all the way across there, like so. And then that's going to pop that up. Okay, and that's going to go, whoops, not upside down, that is for sure. And so for this, because of the checked pattern, I can go, okay, I'm going to line that up there so that way it doesn't get crooked. So I've got that, and then here's my squirrel. Now the card's ready for that one, and let's get some more dimensionals on there too. Okay. Okay, got that going. So I put about like 4 of those. I don't know. My friend Nancy, who loves adding 20,000 dimensionals, she would find space for at least 10 more. I was like calling her out on there. Hello, Lisa. Good to see you on here. So now that's going to get popped on there too. Okay, so we've got pop on the little stump there. Already looking cute, right? Okay, so now I'm just going to grab a strip of basic beige, and let me measure this. This is about, looks like 7/8 inches. I knew it wasn't quite an inch. Just wanted to measure that for you. And then I'm going to stamp up the Go Nuts, It's Your Birthday. I just love this. I love it when Stampin' Up! Gives us fun, kind of the whimsical things for our projects. All right, and then since I have my black ink here, I'm just going to also do an acorn. And so I say, before I stamp things that need to be punched out, I kind of look at orientation on the punch, not on the punch here, but on the back side, like how is this going to fit in? So I tell people, hey, like sometimes they'll be like, oh, I'm just going to stamp it here, you know, on this piece of paper. Well, you do know when you're going to punch it out, you're going to be like punching out all of that too. So I say ahead of time, just to kind of know where you're going to be punching it ahead of time. Just not that like we don't have more cardstock, but sometimes we maybe just don't want to get more out. If you're like me, I've got this much out. I want to make it work, right? Okay, so I'm just going to punch out 2 acorns here next. And that was stamped with the Memento Black again. Okay, got that. All right, then I can set this aside for a little bit. Okay, and then let's just color these in too. The fun thing about that is the colors used on the stump, I'm going to go right back and use those on the acorns too. So the 200, which is the darker, that's going to be the top of the acorns here on that. And then that's maybe another thing that you might look into. Sometimes people, when there's free shipping, they'll go through their blends, and I'll often hear them say, it was a great time to look what blends of mine, you know, in my running list don't I have, or that I know are kind of getting end of life, and I like to have the next set kind of ready to go so I don't have to wait that week to order when I really need them. The neutrals line, sometimes I feel like just kind of falls in the background of people kind of forget that it exists because it's not in the color charts. And so keep that in mind too for free shipping. Okay, so I've got that. And now I'm just going to bring over my trimmer. It's right here. A lot of times I just eye it and cut it by sight. I'm just going to, oops, oh, my thing wasn't in there straight. There we go. It's kind of off a little bit. I'm just going to trim the side just a hair there too. All right, so now I've got that. And then I'm just going to put a little bit of adhesive on here. And then this, I can do kind of by sight too. This is a 1-inch piece of Cajun Craze. So I'm just going to lay that on top of there and then bring my trimmer right back and give that a trim. And that's how I do a lot of my sentiments there. Go nuts, it's your birthday. It's just easier to kind of eye things on a long strip, cut as you need, and then just layer. And so now that is ready to go on, and I want some dimensionals on that. Here we go. I'm like, where did my dimensionals go? Okay, so I'm gonna do about 3 of those also. And then I'm kind of using these acorns as embellishments. Okay, so that's going to kind of pop out because it's on that black background there. Still coordinating with all the colors going on. And then these little acorns, they need mini dimensionals because they're small. So love these little mini dimensionals. I actually had somebody stop out to my house today to pick up some mini dimensionals. I didn't ask what she was going to use them for, but I mean, you don't need an excuse. You just need mini dimensionals, okay? So this I'm going to just kind of set off to the side there of the Go Nuts. Like I said, like more like a little embellishment. So now it's the same height because it's popped up the same level as the sentiment. And then this one, of course, the squirrel kind of looks like it's begging. My sister has a pet, we call it her pet squirrel, named Robbie, that hangs out so often. She has actually named him Robbie, and Robbie always looks like this at her place, looking like he's begging for something empty-handed. But we're gonna put the little acorn in there like so. All right, so that almost finishes it, but I still thought, okay, there's a lot of black here, so even though I kind of called these acorns my embellishments, we're still going to use embellishments. I am loving, you guys, the Cajun Craze and Gold Dots. These are an online exclusive, and so just search for Cajun Craze and Gold Dots and they'll show up. So these are so fun to use because they have just like that gold, like sparkle within the embellishment. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. And there's 3 different sizes. So you all know what I'm thinking right away is that, okay, Belle always puts 3 on her projects. So I've got 1 for each size, right? Okay, so I'm gonna just kind of go down, pop out to the side, and then add to the top over here. And that just kind of fills that space there, just to kind of bring it in a little bit. And then for the inside, I'm just gonna take my usual 4 by 5 1/4 and then bring over my sentiment. I think this is such a nice sentiment. May you gather happiness. Okay, because obviously gathering nuts, right? Gonna ink up that acorn one more time. Actually, it's kind of fun just to maybe even add a couple more down here in the corner. You could color it in if you wanted to, but I'm just leaving mine blank like that. So it just kind of continues the theme from the outside of the card like so. So we've got that, and I'm gonna put that in there like that. All right, so there you have it, Fluffy Squirrel Bundle with the Weekend Adventures Designer Series paper. I hope you enjoyed following along with me. I love giving you guys inspiration. It kind of never gets old because I know for every time that I'm doing it, you guys are doing it too, and it's always fun to see what you guys are working on as well. So every once in a while I'll get like texts or things like, hey, this is what we're working on today, this is who I'm working with today, and I love that. It totally warms my heart. So as always, if you need help with anything, have questions on anything, even like, hey, when is this going to be back in, instead of you guys checking all the time, you can also make, like, if you look something up that's out of stock, you can mark the little box saying, hey, notify me. Go so far as say, let me know too, because sometimes I'm constantly checking that, or I might have like designer series paper. That's happened too, where something was a ways out for getting restocked and I had the paper here. So if if you need help with anything. So sorry, something popped up on my screen. Oh, low battery. So that was me taking that off. Sorry, didn't mean to poke you right there. All right, so that's it for today. I hope to be back tomorrow. I do have a lot of cutting and planning it to do for Stamp Camp next week here in my home. I'm very excited about that. I still have some spots left, not a lot. So let me know sooner than later if you are coming to that. I would love to see you here if you live local. So have a good evening and go